Welcome, everybody, to Sasha and Goff, live recorded. I'm Sasha.
And I'm Goff.
And we are here this week talking about our top 3 and bottom 3 female vocalists. How about it?
Yeah, we did male vocalists some time ago. Actually, not that long ago, right?
Maybe like 10 episodes ago, something like that.
That was fun.
And then we decided, you know what? Equality. That's what we're all about here.
Damn right. And I was just going to say, I wish I could have been a little more inclusive with mine because it's mostly white chicks who play guitar.
Okay.
Wanted to be a little more inclusive, but I was worried about the government kicking my door down. So
I do want to ask you a question. Did you, when we came up with this topic, and by we I mean whoever put it into that bucket?
Was it Elf or Megan?
I don't know.
Huh, one of them.
You're getting a free sticker, whoever it was. Might have been me. But did you know off the top of your head a couple where you're like, oh, well, definitely this person? Or was it something that you had to research? Or did you just think about it for a while and then eventually come up with them?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that it was going to be a good one. Just because it's one, we both love music, so
yeah.
Different genres and whatnot. Like I said, most of mine is like rock, but I got a few.
Immediately, I had the 2 of my top 3 favorite. And then the not favorite ones, I was kind of like, we'll see. And then they kind of came to me over time, and I was like, I hate all of them. They stink.
And I feel like this is one where you really have to be a personal opinion because there's just so many fantastic singers, and it's just like, well, I'm going to tell you now, Adele's not on my list.
Yeah.
But it's like...
another thing I noticed was, like, I listen to way more chick singers now, like modern day music with female singers, than I did before, right? So like now, like I went to see Gouge Away a couple weeks ago. I listened to a band called Family Dinner. I like Waxahachie. I'm saying all these people because I know they're not on your list whatsoever. What if that's your top 3? But
you'd be surprised.
But so like I listen to a lot more music that is female fronted these days, but I don't have as much of a connection to them as I did with who ended up being my top and bottom 3, because it was more people who I have listened to for a while, I think.
Courtney Love.
Top 3 and bottom 3.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was interesting. It's a good topic. I think we're going to have a good time with that one. We are here. It is March, 4th today? Absolutely. Yeah. March 4th.
March
this
4th.
day
Today
is March 4th. The quads of March, as they call it.
Yeah.
Here in the Chicagoland area, we're finally getting some decent weather. It's supposed to be like 60 degrees next week.
Yeah.
You came to my house. I was already wearing shorts. I'm just lined up, ready to go. Are you excited? This is that time of year where people get like sick because it's still cold outside. It's 30 degrees right now, but we're like ready for the warm.
Oh, it's anytime I can wear shorts or not a shirt. If it's 50 degrees to me, it's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We gotta.
But this, it got pretty damn cold, but this was a pretty light winter for us. And when I say light winter, I mean snow. I mean, we got like a couple, but I mean, and it's still early March. I mean, we've gotten snow like mid-April to late April, so we still have time to get fucked. But
I feel like this year was worse than the last 2 years, but it's been light. Like it hasn't been horrible, but I was getting to the point where in February I was like, hurry up.
I've had enough.
Yeah, I've had enough. The 2 years previous, I just remember being like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Like, we're doing well. The seasonal depression has not kicked in as bad as it used to. So
yeah, no, this year hasn't been bad. I mean, it's just the rest of the world is taking care of that depression. Everything else going on in the world.
That's true. Maybe we can lift some spirits here because the weather's getting warmer and just in time because you were about to shave your head.
Yes.
Still doing this?
I am doing this. March 19th. Thanks for the plug, by the way. St. Baldrick's. I'm going to be doing a head shaving event. I'm raising money for children's cancer research. I don't know if you're going to... Thank you, by the way, for putting the QR code on last week's episode. I don't know if that's still valid or not.
Yeah, let me talk about the QR code. So if you watched our episode from 2 weeks ago, the QR code on that one, I was only on for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
And then I was like, why don't I just keep it on the entire episode, which is what I did last week.
That was great.
But they only last for 1 week because I'm not paying for a QR code, okay? I'm already going to give you money. I'm not going to give the QR people money.
I appreciate it.
So they only last for a week. So if you watch the one from 2 weeks ago and you're like, why isn't the QR code working? It only lasts 1 week. And so last week's
do
episode,
it now.
Same thing. So now for this week, do it right now. There's a QR code right in the middle over here. You could just take a picture of it and put it through Google Lens, or I don't know how it works.
That was another funny thing. I sent one to Joni, and she's just like, "Do you have a link?" And it's like,
I thought about that too.
You have to take a screenshot, then go to like your QR thing, and then I had to find a picture in there. But we'll put a link in the notes too.
Yeah, well, also, if you're on our Instagram this week, you have to do that. You have to put this QR code as one of our pictures, put it in the stories, do all that stuff. I thought you were going to be like, well, I didn't want to put my thing on there. And I was like, shut up, Goff. Put the QR in there. People, give this man some money. Shout out to...
Yeah, to a few of the listeners here have donated, and thank you guys very much. But yeah, so...
I have not donated yet.
It's all right. We'll see. Plenty of time.
You have March 19th is the last day you can do this too?
The cutoff, we're calling it.
So March 19th, and that is the day that they're shaving your head?
Yes.
Okay, so we have until March 19th. We have a couple more weeks left, and any little bit helps. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not pushing it anymore.
No, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank all of you.
Absolutely. We have some messages from some of our dear friends who have sent us their top threes from the past couple of weeks' shows here. So last week we did top 3 grunge, and this was a fun one, especially for me. I could keep going. Yeah. Our dear friend Shug, who, he's the one who chose the topic in general, so he sent in his 3. Number 3, Nirvana.
These are his top, right?
Yeah,
Did
top
you do
3.
Bottom as well?
No bottom, just top.
Okay.
Number 3, Nirvana. Number 2, Alice in Chains. He said Lane Staley's voice, incredible. Okay. And number 1, I almost read a different top 3, but number 1, and this is an interesting, Pearl Jam. We talked about this and how Pearl Jam's just like a weird thing. But he did say this. He prefaced it or post-faced it, because he wrote it afterwards.
Yeah. PS'd. I don't know.
Post-faced it.
Post-scripted, I think, right?
And he said only their first 3 albums, the rest of them suck.
Okay.
And so I was like, I agree with Shug wholeheartedly on that statement. The first 3 albums and nothing after that.
Yeah.
Well, then we had a little situation, and we're not going to put it here. We recorded something else before the show today. Because
we did?
Yeah, you were there.
I was.
I drugged you before. You don't remember, possibly.
Okay.
But I was doing a Peloton run, and I came across a song on there because the instructors will make their own playlists. And a Pearl Jam song was on there, and I was like, oh, let me hear this. It was an album I've never seen before, and a song, and it came on. And I was so shocked in hearing this song. It was a punk song.
I didn't ask you when we listened to it. So this is the song you played for me is the one you heard?
Yes.
Okay.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. No, definitely unexpected.
It was a straight-up punk song.
Yeah.
And it was from 2013 Pearl Jam.
It was good.
Which makes me think Pearl Jam may be better.
Maybe there's some hope.
Later on, yeah. So now I have to do what all middle-aged white people do and listen to all the Pearl Jam albums. That's rough, right?
So, Pearl Jam, late bloomers. That's what they are, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you do it, I'll do it. I'll check out. Or you know what? You send me the good stuff.
I'll send you some links. What if we both become jam heads?
Oh, jeez.
PJ heads.
PJs? Pearlies?
I don't know. I wish I remembered the name of that song to say it right here, but I might cut all this out anyway.
Well, so. I did, speaking of that, Useless Dave actually reached out on Instagram. He stepped over to my side of the tracks on Instagram, and he actually agreed with what I said. He just said, yes, Spin the Black Circle is the only good Pearl Jam song. Everything else sucks.
Wow.
He literally, it's like, that's my guy.
All right, well, I'm going to send him this one. I don't know if he'll like it or not.
Yeah, you should, actually.
It sounded to me like a face-to-face song at a certain part, like the chorus or whatever it was. But I was just so surprised that it was Pearl Jam. And it's like Eddie Vedder's voice. You're like, oh, well, you have to be able to recognize it. You didn't recognize it when I played it.
Not at all.
And you liked it or whatever. So we might put that clip as a totally separate clip somewhere on our YouTube page.
I think even after you told me who it was, I still didn't listen enough to be like, okay, that's who that is. Yeah. I'll have to go back and do that.
So thank you, Shug, for your top 3. And turns out
Chris.
There may be more good Pearl Jam. I don't know. We'll see. Also, our dear friend Bishop chimed in the week before last, we did top 3 and bottom 3 Disney movies.
Yep.
And he said number 3, Coco. Are you familiar with Coco?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a newer Pixar one.
Okay. Number 2, Toy Story, which I believe is people
like a Universal one.
Our age.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it was my number 1 or number 2 or whatever it was.
I realized you and I had the same list. It was just a different order. So I was listening to that the other day. Yeah.
And
it was a very uneventful episode.
His number 1, he goes, this is very underrated, but Meet the Robinsons.
Okay, I know of it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, though.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen Coco or Meet the Robinsons. But thank you for the top 3, Bishop.
Thank you, Bishop.
And then our dear friend Giuseppe chimed in with a comment. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I didn't.
On the YouTube.
All right.
You were talking about Gladiator 2.
Yes.
And how it was, how you hated it because there was
water.
Oh,
you know what? I started reading this comment and I stopped. I was like, shit.
There were sharks involved in the Gladiator 2, and you just went off because you do not like when history movies are non-historical.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and read it.
So here's what he said. He said, kind of surprised that nobody in the comments, and by the way, thank you for saying comments and not other person on the podcast.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised that nobody in the comments called Goff out on the realism of filling the Colosseum with water. That is actually not fabricated and 100% true. The shark part, probably not so much, but they absolutely held water battles back in the day, which sounds fun.
All right, so I did say, though, I could understand it if they had some kind of like a canal system to fill it. But I did, and then I said the sharks, though, is completely fucking idiotic. Maybe crocodiles or something would be cool, and that would work, but not sharks. But anyway, go ahead.
And he said, keep in mind that the Roman aqueduct system was carrying water many miles from the source into various cities of the empire.
Okay.
So it is plausible that they could redirect that water into the Colosseum to quickly fill it for water battles. I love the double use of the words water battles.
Water battles.
Water battles, pretty solid.
That's the name of this episode.
Pretty solid. Good band name, good episode
Top
name.
female episode, vocalist and water battles.
It just makes me feel like Super Soaker. Like that's what it reminds me. Yeah, let's go have a water battle, bro.
Just the word battle is great.
Yeah. Thank you, Giuseppe, for calling out Goff on all of his atrocities. The only other thing I wanted to bring up on my end of this week in our randomness that we do here at the beginning, I had a situation with it's 2 a.m. and Callie woke up and she sleeps at like the foot of our bed.
Okay.
And she woke up and she came all the way to the top of our bed, like by our faces, and was like sitting in between me and Megan and was like scared. You could tell something or lost.
You have a ghost, my friend.
Maybe lost, maybe scared.
Oh.
But either way, we were like, get out of here, go back. And so we pushed her to the bottom of the bed. And then
knowing she was terrified. Get the fuck out of here.
And then she got up and started doing the circles to get comfortable, and then circled all the way back up to
so now it's like a tornado.
Yeah, a tornado of fear. And so we were like, what's going on? And so whatever, I go back to sleep, and then I hear words that you never want to hear. I hear Megan go, what's that noise? Now I wake up, it's 2 a.m., middle of my sleep, and I'm like, I have a golf ball. I mean, a golf ball. That's what I have.
Yeah.
I have a golf club, which is only slightly better than a golf ball as a weapon, and a baseball bat.
Okay, that's good.
In my room because I practice both sports in our bedroom.
Nice.
And
if someone gets in the way, perhaps a burglar.
In my mind, I'm like, what noise? Like what weapon do I grab? Do we barricade the door? What's going? Like I'm terrified at those words, and then I hear. Zeep, 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 zeep. And I'm like, what is that? And Callie's shaking. Callie is freaking out and shaking. And I have no clue what this is. And then we sit and we wait. And some time passes. And it goes, zeep, 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 zeep. And then we realize it's the carbon monoxide detector.
Oh, okay. I thought a bird was in the house.
No burglar, no animals. Just carbon monoxide.
Okay, that's good. So you guys were sleeping really well that night?
Yeah. So the good news is we all woke up, and then and I went downstairs. I still brought the bat just in case.
Just in case.
You never know.
Carbon monoxide detector had some.
And I go all the way downstairs, and I noticed that the carbon monoxide detector is the thing that is not working. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I unplug it. Now We don't have to worry
That's
about
a
it.
big no-no.
And so I look at the model number. I Google it. What does 5 beeps mean? And it basically says 5 beeps every 40 seconds means that the thing no longer works. It's not the battery, but the actual detector doesn't work anymore. I verified this on my phone. Megan verified it separately with her own knowledge on the phone, because I'm scared at this point, thinking it's carbon monoxide, whatever. You know, like, you don't just go, oh yeah, and then go back to sleep.
You might pass out at any time.
Like the way that I am with like things plugged in and whatever, like I'm nervous.
You walked up, you're like, I told you,
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. What if the carbon monoxide detector set our house on fire? So we're doing that. We're independently verifying and model numbers and doing all that kind of stuff. And then I find the manual. I go, oh, this is, and it's for that specific model. I'm like, okay, this will put me at severe ease if this is what it says. And it says 5 beeps and then 40 seconds, and then we timed it and everything. That just means that the thing is broken. It says 4 beeps means that you have carbon monoxide in your home.
Oh,
and I'm like, why is it that close?
Yeah.
Why not 1?
2 and then 15.
Yeah. Keep beeping. If there's carbon monoxide, keep beeping. Wake me up.
It's like red means this. Orange means this.
Light
and those
red.
are the only 2 colors.
It was, I was so angry at that point. So then we had to like scramble around the house and check all our other stuff. We have some detectors that are just smoke. Some are smoke and CO2. I'm testing all of them. I'm independently checking model numbers. It's 2 a.m.
I was just going to say.
Callie is on the couch shaking. I think the noise, because it's so high-pitched, like terrifies dogs.
Wow.
I Googled that, and it was like, yeah, other dogs do this too, where like if they hear that, it's like really, really bad for them or whatever.
Yeah.
So once that stopped, she kind of like, was okay, and we all went back to sleep, and I was like, well, good night, and hopefully we see each other in the morning when we wake up.
Yeah.
And then we woke up the next morning, and then Gene Hackman died, and his wife, and
and his wife?
And his dog, yeah. And so we're like, dude.
Wait, I don't even know how this, like, I knew he passed, but.
Yeah, so they all died, and they ruled out carbon monoxide. But I immediately, when you're like, everybody in the house died, you're like, oh, carbon monoxide. Now it's coming out like, look, I don't know. I don't want to say what's what, but they said like the wife was dead for 10 days already, and she was like mummified. And like there was like a bunch of pills like scattered around. And you're like, what is happening in Gene Hackman's home?
Oh.
So yeah, so it was pretty crazy, and I don't know what's fact and what's not. Check TMZ or if you care. But yeah, so it was just a pretty interesting carbon monoxide situation.
I just imagine you guys like with the tally, like
carbon monoxide.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Monoxide or dioxide?
No, monoxide.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the bad stuff.
All right. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. But
it's one of the greatest Arrested Development lines by Michael Bluth when he comes in it, because they're all lazy asses, and like everyone's sprawled out around the house, and he's just like, is there a carbon monoxide leak in this house?
I do that all the time. What do we got, a gas leak in here? Or like, why is everybody sleeping?
It's a great one.
Yeah.
I got just one quick thing. I have a daddy-daughter dance at the end of the week.
We're not giving you money for that, okay?
No, I was going to see if you wanted to take my place.
No.
Yeah, I have to go to this thing every year, and it's like, I feel bad. It's like, I don't think Natalie's the only one I go with still, and I don't think it's where she knows that I just actively despise this thing. And it's not one of those, like, fuck this. It's just like, I don't wanna, and it's more unnecessary. Like,
that's funny. At
least the Halloween dance, I can wear a mask the whole time and just hide in the corner. And I'm really not an antisocial person, but I just don't want, like, at least Joni's going to be there. She's volunteering to, like, hand out waters and stuff, so I'll probably just be hanging out there.
Do you, you obviously love spending time with your daughter.
Yeah.
That's not why you don't like going to this.
No,
it's just the situation in general. But, like, what is it? Is it, like, talking to the other dads?
It's the music, because I've probably talked about it on this podcast. I don't even care that it's Taylor Swift. It's just that music hasn't updated for children, apparently.
Yeah.
Because it's like still, is it Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Baby? Great song, but I mean, it's like, I don't want to hear this anymore. Yeah, and then having to dress up. And I do have a suit now, because I had that wedding. No, this is like, you wear like a suit and some of the people get dropped off in limos. I mean, it's a little extravagant, but
What about the other dads? You guys all get along?
I have like Natty's.
Call them out by name.
Yeah, Natty's friend group. Yeah, no, we get along, but I mean, I kind of feel like these guys are in the same boat as me. It's just like, yeah, we'll talk, but it's like we'd all rather be at home, like on the couch.
Now, you don't drink, but does anybody like pregame or anything?
You can definitely, maybe not at events. Yes, there have been men that have come up, men, women too, I guess, that have come up to talk to me, and it's just like you're like, ooh, it's like, all right,
this is
like
how you're
before
getting
the
through
football
it.
games and stuff. It's
That's
just
fun.
like, all right, it's like, you know what, 6 years ago it would have been me too.
Yeah, right.
So-
Let's go under the bleachers and have some fun.
have a little schnapps.
Love it.
But yeah, no, so I'll give you more details on that if they're.
And if you want to send Goff money to get a limo for the daddy-daughter dance, we'll have a QR code right up here. There's just going to be a separate
QR
one.
codes all week. It's like, no. This one here is for my new tractor. That's all I got, though. So.
All right, so let's talk about what we've been putting inside ourselves this week. I'm only going to talk about one event, and it's going to take me 30 minutes, and it's going to be, it was 8 hours of my day last Saturday.
Shit.
I went to 2 concerts.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm talking strictly music this week. I went to 2 concerts. I went to see the band that I've talked about on this podcast before, and I said, I don't know if I like these guys, but I can't stop listening to them. They're called Landowner.
Okay.
And
I did think of them this week for whatever reason. That name came up, and I was like,
their music is very like repetitive and interesting, and the guy talks over it.
It's almost I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
You gave like a perfect example when you said like almost Henry Rollins spoken word, but with just in the background, and then it's just getting faster and louder and faster and louder, and then the rest of the it's just what is
and
this?
Then super soft. Yeah. And then very loud, and then everybody's like, yeah.
It's I do like, you sent me a couple other videos. I did love like the jam band aspect of it, but
Dude.
I don't know if I can, they're probably not a band like I would listen to.
I get, because it can probably get repetitive if you're listening to an entire album of that.
Yeah.
However, let me say this. So I went to go see them at something called Music Frozen Dancing.
Okay.
This was at the Empty Bottle in Chicago.
All right.
This was an outdoor event in February.
Yeah.
It was the warmest day that week, and it was 30 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And it was super windy, so it felt like it was 8 degrees
Doesn't
outside.
that kind of suck too, at events like that, because outdoor events when it's windy, because the sound kind of carries?
Well, here's the best part of it. So I go to the city, I park, I do all the stuff that you hate doing when you go to the city. You're looking, oh, can I park over here? Oh, you need a permit. I can't park here. And then you randomly stumble upon something, and then you leave your car, and you hope
to God.
Yeah, you hope. I was on a street that was under construction, but there was another car parked there. I was like, look, we're both parked there now. Maybe it looks better. I don't know.
See you at the impound lot later,
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly. And that's the worst, because then they send you to like the south side of Chicago if they tow your car.
There's never a close impound lot.
No. They'll send you to Milwaukee or something. You're just like, oh man, it's the worst. I hate that. I hate that about going to the city. So I did that, and then I get out of my car and I start walking to the event. And the night before, I had hung out with a couple friends of mine, including dear producer Tony.
Nice.
And so this is the next morning or next afternoon or whatever. And so I'm like checking for my wallet, my keys. I have everything that I need.
All the time too.
And I reach into my pocket, and there's something like, I'm like, what is this? Did something break off? And I reach in and I look at it. I wish I had it here. It is a miniature version of this producer Tony bust. It's about this big, and he left it in my pocket the night before. That's
wonderful.
And he was telling me how he leaves them just around his house, and his wife is furious because he just like leaves them all over the place. So Tony, we need like hundreds of those. Just send them.
We'll put them all over the place. Like, whoever's
everywhere.
watching on YouTube, if you can spot like all 10 of them.
Yeah, well, it's like a Drew Carey
That'd be
episode.
great, yeah.
Spot so that was hilarious.
Orange hair and everything?
Everything, yeah. Like same color. It was beautiful.
I want one.
So that made me laugh. And I was laughing and also freezing because it was like 8 degrees and super windy. And I left my gloves and my hat in the car, and I was like...
Wait, so this is at least during the day, right? This one?
Starts at 1 o'clock is what they said.
So it's still cold, but at least it's not nighttime.
Correct,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I left my stuff in the car, and I'm like, if I get cold, I'll just come back and get it. But I don't want to carry everything, and then I don't need it. But as soon as I was like half a block away, I was like, I'm definitely going to be coming back or whatever. So I walk, and I get there finally, and then I realize the empty bottle is here. There's an empty lot, and then another building, and then the stage is at the end of like the buildings outside, and it's just like a neighborhood, street behind that. So those people, it sucks for them because it's like cut off and they can't get through to the main street, which is Western or whatever. They have to like go around, but still, it was a nice little setup, and you're in between two buildings. So I get there. There's already a couple hundred people at this thing. It was crazy. I was surprised to see how many people were there. You walk in, there's like security, there's an entrance, but it's a free event, which is the best part of it. And I get in there, and I'm like just standing by myself, and I'm like, man, I really wish I had some friends to like, because everybody there was just drinking with their friends. They had like a tent that was selling like 40 different types of beers. Yeah. It was just like a cool event to be at, and people were just in groups, and then I was there like by myself. And like, I go to shows by myself. I have for a very long time. I have no problem with it. I had no problem with this, but this was one of the times.
But when you're cold on top of
it,
it's just like,
like it's like daytime. I feel like that had an effect on it too, because at least at night you're like, whatever, I'll be out of here soon and I'll go home. This was kind of like, oh, I'm at an event. Like, it would be nice if there were other people here and I could talk to somebody. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I'll just talk to random people. Like, people are friendly. It doesn't matter. And I didn't do that. I was like, it's too cold. And so
fuck that.
The wind stopped because you're in between two buildings. So that was awesome.
See, that's why I reacted to that before, because if the buildings were the other way, it could have been a terrible situation.
Disaster.
You would have been in a wind tunnel.
Absolute disaster. Yeah, 100%. So like, I was standing there and waiting, and it turns out that the show started at 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock.
And you got there when?
I assumed that it started at 1 o'clock, so I was planning to get there by 2:30 because I was doing the math on how long it takes bands to play and set up, and I only want to see this one band. I'm not interested in the other bands, not outside or whatever.
This is Landowner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're playing third, I believe. Well, like, as I'm going up there, Empty Bottle posted something that was like, show starts at 2, and I was like, so now that pushes everything back an hour. So I would have wanted to be there at 3:30. Instead, I got there around like 2:15. So I got there at 2:15. I had still missed the first band. Then I watched the second band. They were cool. I wish I remembered their name, Double Down or something like that. Just like straight up hardcore punk band. Okay. They were solid. And then the third band starts setting up, and I can kind of recognize them from the videos I've watched, and I'm like, yeah, like, I timed it pretty well, but I was so cold by the time that they came out. And remember, no gloves, no hat. I left it in the car, and I was parked pretty far away too. It was like 15-minute walk in that wind or whatever. So whatever, they're about to get ready to play, and I'm all the way in the back, so I'm like, I'm moving up. Screw this. So I walk like strategically around, and I get to the front section. I'm literally in like the second row of people. There's way more space up there than there was where I was standing, where everybody's like this, and there's like porta potties, and it stinks, and there's mud, and like whatever. So up there it was way cooler, but there was also like, that's where the weirdos who were like into the music were hanging out. And so everybody's just kind of like getting ready for it. They started to play. Dude, I love this band.
Wow.
They went from being like, I don't know if I like this band, to I love this band. He came out and he took off an article of clothing after every song. Keep in mind, it was cold.
Yeah.
He got down to a t-shirt, and then the next song he put another article back on. He's like, I get cold too, man. Screw this. But the guy, dude, he's got so much charisma for like not saying much and not being excited. And he just talks like this. We are at the Empty Bottle. Thank you guys for being here. It is colder here than in Maryland. Right? He said nothing, but just the way that he said it, you're like entranced, enhanced, whatever it was. The band themselves, awesome. Like, really, really good band.
How many?
Super repetitive.
They're like 5 or 6 guys, right?
2 guitars, 1 bass, 1 drummer, 1 singer.
Okay.
So 5-piece band. And they played for, I mean, anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, whatever it was. But from the first like second of them playing, a little pit, a respectable pit, by the way. Yeah. You know, like those where there's no jerk and just everybody's kind of having fun. And it does sound kind of like dance music, so everybody's just like bobbing around. I put some videos up on my personal Instagram page. It was awesome, dude. They were so good. I'm going to see them next time they come for sure, and I definitely recommend anybody going to see them. Even if you're not into the music or whatever, it's just a cool experience to see a band that is so different than anything you've ever seen. And by the time that they finished playing, I mean, they were getting like huge ovation. Like everybody was into it. Even like the weirdos just there for the drinking. There was like, you know, people who were like in their 50s and probably 60s that were just like there to drink and have a good time. Everybody was into it, man. It was so much fun.
Nice.
And then they finished and they were like, hang out. Like, we're going to hang out with you guys. We have merch for sale. We have blah. I was like, I'm out. I want to buy a shirt. I want to talk to this guy, but I'm out of here. I'm freezing. Like, I was numb.
Yeah.
So I just went back to my car and I just defrosted for like 20 minutes. And then I went from there to the Beat Kitchen for a different concert that was a benefit called Snuzfest. It was like 9 bands.
Okay.
Here's the problem. I wanted to see the second band and like the 6th band. The second band was Bad Planning.
Oh, yeah.
From Barrington. We've seen them before.
Yeah, they were good.
They're playing again, by the way, at that theater. They're playing with Murphy's Law. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And so they were playing second. They were terrific. And then I was waiting to see Something to Do, which was the band with the song Draw Me Like One of Your French Girls, the ska band that I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were on the same show together, which was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And so I waited and I waited. And there was every band was decent, so it wasn't a horrible wait. But there was a band called Dog Shit that played, and you're expecting it to be a horrible band. And a lot of people probably would say it was a horrible band. It was just a bass player, a singer, and a drummer. The singer and the drummer, 2 chicks, and they were awesome. They were just their lyrics were hilarious. One of their songs was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stick it in your butt.
There we go.
Something like that. Stick it in your butt or put it in your butt. Right. Whatever it is. So you hear that and you're like, this can't be good. But they were pretty good.
Nice.
I'm surprised. And if I saw them on a different show, I wouldn't be upset or whatever. They were. But yeah, so I spent like 8 hours that day watching bands.
This one was indoor, I hope.
Yeah, in the Beat Kitchen, but yeah, so it was just it was a lot of fun. I got home by like 10:15, so it was like 2:15 to 10:15 or whatever. And our dear friend Dave actually, I think he yelled at me via text. Was it Dave, or maybe it was my friend Pee Wee, dear friend of the pod, Pee Wee.
Yeah,
he was like you should be at home sleeping or whatever, and I was like, get out of here, old man, like screw you. But yeah, so I put a lot of bands into my system this weekend. I'm sorry for talking so much, but I had such a good time that I had to talk about it.
I feel like I just have like garbage to talk about now. You had like a nice story and everything, so I'll just you know what, a couple updates on things because I don't really have a ton to talk about either. I did check out Stoke Signals, who you talked about last week. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of the Wonder Years, like when I liked
earlier.
The Wonder Years.
I get it. 100%.
Yeah, totally. All right. Gouge Away also listened to. Not really my thing. I actually listened to them like right on the way home from recording last week, and it was just like that. Actually, reminded me like of more of like the White Stripes kind of like, I don't know, like thrashier guitar sounds, kind of like, I don't know. It's weird because I know you like they're like considered a hardcore band, but like. Not the, you know, obviously I'm into a different kind. Yeah. So I think maybe I was expecting something different. But I mean, they weren't bad, but just, I was just kind of like,
I get it. No. They have slower songs too that, like, it's kind of, I understand what you're saying, like White Stripe-ish or Jack White or whatever you want to say. It's kind of like riffy.
Yeah. A lot of like, you know, like.
Yeah. I get it.
Okay.
It's not for everybody. And there's a lot of screaming in that band too. Yeah. So if you.
A lot of distortion too with like the voice.
Yeah, and live they were like, I liked them hearing them before I saw them live, but when I saw them live there was just so much energy that you're like, I don't care about the screaming and stuff like that, because I'm not into screamy stuff either, but yeah, they're good.
Good stuff. Update, show I talked about A while ago, I guess. Abbott Elementary. I was able to catch up on that. I was like 4 or 5 episodes behind. Still crushing it. I don't know. Did the Oscars? Is that tonight?
It was 3 days ago, buddy.
Yes. I'm not gonna watch that. I assume. No, the Oscars is the movie one. Never mind. But I
did watch it because Conan O'Brien is the host. I'm all in. I don't know any of the movies. I don't know any of that stuff, but I want to watch Conan. So.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I mean, I did watch Conan.
Cobra Kai. You're not a Karate Kid guy, right?
No.
So you know what? With that one, actually, I'm gonna tease it. If anyone really cares enough, go listen to my other podcast because I'm gonna talk about it more on there because I know I can actually just like spoil a little more. And
all right, but let me ask you: Cobra Kai is the TV show?
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yes.
What season is this?
It's done now. The show it just wrapped season 6 and the show is done now.
But
however, there's a movie coming out like in a year and a half. So this show though, Cobra Kai, is done. Okay. Unless they like bring it, I don't know. I mean it.
But did it just finish?
It literally, yeah. Like So the 6th season came out in 3 sections of 5 episodes each, and the final 5 just dropped. So it is finally over. And all I will say is, as much as I enjoyed the show, I'm so happy it's done. I'm so happy it's done.
I'm getting that way with Severance. Like season
which I
2,
still haven't started yet.
Season 2, I like it, but I'm like, I want this to be done in 3 seasons. If it goes past 3 seasons, I might be out. Like, the story is good. It's super interesting. Don't string me along.
Yeah, I would think, having not even watched the 2nd season yet, I think even maybe ending it now, or season 3, and that's because, like you said, a show that is this weird and everything. Like Lost was a show like that, and they just got too far with it, where you're just like, no, you should have ended this. You know,
it's like for the art of it, you got to end it early. For financial reasons, they never do.
Oh, absolutely,
it's trash.
Speaking of financial reasons, my last one is
check out this QR to send us cash.
No, it's a sequel actually. Rambo: Last Blood. Have you seen any of the Rambo movies?
Not in full.
5, I believe.
Not in full.
Okay.
I'm obviously aware of Rambo and all that kind of stuff, but if you ask me anything about the movies, I wouldn't know.
So that's how I was probably about 3-4 years ago, and this isn't going to be me getting into like how I turned into a Rambo guy.
You're a big Rambo guy?
No, absolutely not.
You just wear a headband all the time and shoot people?
So he came out, and I say he because Sylvester Stallone like writes these movies. He's like, behind these movies, and he also stars in them. The last one that came out, like this final one, is called Last Blood, obviously to contrast with the very first movie, which is called First Blood. So violent. I mean, like, if you love like this kind of stuff, you'll like the movie. But I mean, like, Stallone is like a deranged guy, and in this movie, it's like he's kind of settled down and he's living with a mom and her daughter, and he's kind of like the farmhand at their house, I guess. Okay. But he has like this underground tunnel system that he has made. And so, like, long story short, the little girl ends up, spoilers, this movie's from like 2015, so who cares?
Be careful.
But the little girl ends up dying. She like overdoses because she's given drugs. Like she turns into like, like human trafficking, any all that shit. Wow. So Rambo like gets all these people to come back to the house, and it turns into fucking Home Alone 4 or whatever. And it's like, this is literally, when you watch this Home Alone, it's like, okay, this is probably what would have actually happened to Harry and Marv. So it's just, but it's awesome. Are you familiar with the term double tap?
No.
When it comes to killing. So it's like, it came from Zombieland. Like with a zombie, when you think it's dead, shoot it in the head just to be sure that it's dead. Okay. So in this movie, it's like a guy will literally get his head lopped off, and he'll still run by and shoot at like his body. There is just so much. And big spoiler, rips a man's heart out of his chest at the end of the film. Okay. I mean, he cuts in there a little bit, but he still pulls it out with his own hand. And it's fantastic. So Rambo: Last Blood.
And you said 2015 this came out?
It might even be like, maybe a little more recent. You know what? I'd say like
even more recent.
2017 maybe.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Because there was one that came out in 2005, and that one was just called Rambo.
They did the same with Rocky, right? Where like one came out like a week ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
the Rocky, those were pretty good though. I mean, like they still, like Michael B. Jordan was involved in those. Okay. Well, they turned into like the I forgot who the
Apollo
guy,
Creed.
Apollo, there you
yeah.
Creed. And those were really good movies, and Stallone was still attached to him, but he wasn't like the main actor.
Okay.
These Rambo movies, he's still the main star, and you're just like, dude, you wrote this fucking movie. It's just like, he is just like, this guy loves violence.
And now he's also the ambassador to Hollywood or whatever, too.
Yeah, so it's just like, and he's the Tulsa King, which...
Oh, yeah.
It just...
Oh, yeah, and he's got a show
That's it, the Tulsa King.
But doesn't he have one where it's like him and his 4 daughters or something like that? It's like a reality show.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's like his wife and 4 daughters. Unless I'm thinking of a different like action star. But
Steven Seagal.
I'm pretty sure it's him.
It might be. Yeah, I don't know.
I'd watch the Steven Seagal one.
I would watch that over the Stallone one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, but that's all I got. So
okay, let's do our top 3 and bottom 3. Favorite and least favorite female vocalists.
Hell yeah.
Which one you want to start with? Least favorite?
Mm-hmm.
All right, least favorite. I'm going to start it off with number 3. Very familiar if you listened to last week's episode. I'm going Courtney Love.
What?
I don't like her voice.
No way.
I don't like her band. I don't like her. Granted, I don't know her, so older me says, you got to give everybody a chance. Whereas younger me says, I don't need a chance.
No.
Get out of here.
No, younger you says, no, Mom, I like Bush, not Rush.
Yeah. By the way, those reels doing pretty well on that one. Bush versus Rush.
Bush versus Rush.
But, yeah, so Courtney Love, it just, what can you say? I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan, so it's part personal and it's part just like stepping away from the personal part. I'm still not a fan, so.
That's okay.
Sorry, Courtney Love.
All right, so.
Or am I? Or am I sorry? If I disappear, it was Courtney Love.
All right, my number 3 is an old Fat Records punk band. You remember Tilt?
Yeah.
Cinderblock, the lead singer of that band, who just had one of the most guttural and disgusting voices ever. And
wow, okay.
You know what, though? I hate to say that because I was actually like a big fan of them, but that was when it was just like if it was fast, it passed. I just came up with that.
Get the shirt. We need a shirt.
Damn right. But anyway, no, just going back and listening now, it's like, this is awful. Like, the music is still cool, but it's like her voice is just so wretched. It's just like, I don't like it.
Can I ask, are there any other female punk singers on your list?
Yes.
Okay.
Both lists.
Then I'm not going to bring up who I am thinking of now, but just remind me in our potent notables that there's a punk band that I want to bring up.
Okay. I probably know who you're talking about.
Okay.
But what's your number 2?
My number 2 is this one might shake some babies.
Oh. Babies, huh?
Well, is that a good thing? Is not a good thing? I don't know. It depends on the baby. Baby Hitler? Is that good? Bad?
Shake it.
Anyway, look out for the Baby Hitler shirts coming soon. Number 2 for me, Madonna. I am not a fan. Now, there are a couple Madonna songs now that as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
I'm way more into the 80s music now than I was when I was younger.
Yep.
And she's got a couple songs where I was like, oh, yeah, this is good. And then who is this? Oh, Madonna. There was a song recently that had Justin Timberlake in it, and I was like trying to find that song because I liked it. Mm-hmm. And then Megan was like, oh, that's the song with Madonna. It's actually a Madonna song. And I was like, damn it. I was like, well, I don't like the Madonna part. I only like the Justin Timberlake part. It's like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been a fan. This is another Courtney Love one. Like, I don't like Madonna as a person.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't know her as a person. Whatever. I just like what I see, I'm not a fan of. And just, I don't know, never did anything for me. I understand people love her, but...
Well, this is funny because I brought her up when I was talking to Joni when I was going over my list. Not like she was on it, but I kind of asked, what about Madonna? What do you think of her? And we both kind of decided she was much more of a performer than a vocalist. Like, she obviously was singing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's like, and that's totally like a Cyndi Lauper type. Like, are you really like, wow, she was a great singer? It's like, yeah, she was good enough to like sell records and shit. But it's like, yeah, I thought Madonna was like, if like Michael Jackson was like the total package, like Justin Timberlake total package, and it's like Madonna, like 3/4 of it.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper is one that I wrote down to ask you about because I just thought it was was funny. Like when you heard her talk, you're like,
yeah, the gig like kept going though.
She was like,
yeah, she was like New Jersey,
yeah,
but like also like, oh yeah.
And then when her songs, and you're like, All right.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I like Cyndi Lauper songs. I'm not like going out of my way to listen to it, but yeah. So whatever.
Do you say Lauper or Lauper?
Lauper.
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 Nice. Okay. My number 2 is Alanis Morissette. Alanis, however you want to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, just her voice to me is just very like, I'm scared, but I'm chicken shit or whatever. Just like very talky and like kind of nerdy. And I don't know.
I liked when she said piano. That part of the song.
Or flicking a cigarette. Like
yeah. She had an interesting way of enunciating. I'm an Alanis. I don't want to say fan, but I do like some Alanis Morissette songs. I'm not against her songs and stuff like that. But I know you're a big Joey Gladstone guy.
No, yeah.
So you're a little bit biased here.
They're not still married, are they?
No,
that'd be wild.
No,
it's like no, they got divorced
I don't even think
30 years ago.
I don't think
they
were
were just
married.
like an item.
Yeah, and then he was like allegedly very bad as a human or something. You don't know that? Like, what do you do? Like,
I don't know, man.
You're just walking around eating peppers off people's plates or whatever?
Just eating ice cream for dinner every night.
What a monster.
But yeah, no, Alanis Morissette or Alanis, whatever. Just never been a fan.
Okay. My number 1 is going to be... I'm thinking of somebody else now that you said Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
Which is... She wouldn't make my list, but just like oh yeah. But my number 1 is, without a doubt, number 1... way like huge separation between 1 and 2. Yeah.
All right.
Yoko Ono. I don't have to say anything. Yeah. Yoko Ono to me is like
homewrecker.
Okay.
Allegedly
band wrecker. And also just like I don't understand the quote unquote art that she is doing, the screeching and the noises that come out when she put out music. I just don't get any of it. Nothing about
you know what? I don't even think I could say that's a Yoko Ono song. I don't know if I could point
you would out. If you heard like a chicken screaming in the distance, you'd be like, is that a chicken screaming in the distance? And there's a chance that it's Yoko Ono.
That should be next week's game. Chicken screaming or Yoko Ono.
Okay, yeah, we'll play that right after Identify This Penis.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my number
followed
1.
through on that one.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Megan asked me, "Are we gonna play that this week?" And I was like, "I was kind of."
You're like, we?
I was like, kind of joking.
Her. I thought she's like, "Are we playing?"
We play Find the Penis.
Jody's here too. All of a sudden,
she wanted to be the guest. She wanted to be a guest on that episode.
All right, so, we'll put it out. All right, so my number 1, and this one, I feel really bad about this one because I do like this band, and this one might offend you actually.
This is your number 1.
This is my number 1 least favorite, and I have to put the stipulation in that it's because what this person does when they start singing, and that is Lauren Nickel from Heart Sounds.
Oh,
I cannot stand. When I first heard that band, I was like, hell yeah, these guys fucking wail. And then right when she started singing, it was like, oh no. Like, I like that band. Like, I can overlook her singing, but I really feel if she was not part of that band, I would listen to them so much more.
That's so interesting. I wonder how many people also have that thought. Because when I first heard her, was kind of like, oh, I'm not into this.
It's jarring because like he has like a raspy kind of like Nuno type voice, and she doesn't. Like she doesn't really like. She harmonizes a lot, I guess, but it's like not like a great voice because they used to be a metal band, right? Like a death metal band.
Yeah.
Like the City or something like that.
Yeah, where she was the singer, the main singer of the band.
And do you know, like, did she scream or did she just? Okay, so maybe this is her just being like, I can still sing, and then being like, all right, hon. Like,
look, I went from also being like, whoa, because it's one of the first things you notice when she sings, because she sings like way down low. I like almost immediately was like, this is awesome. Like it went to like, I really like her voice. I like the two of them together. I think it's like they're so different that it is kind of like good together. I'm a fan. I get it totally though. I have talked to other people who are like, just not my thing.
See, and it's again, I mean, I'll put that band on like on the way home from like after this recording just to reassure myself that it's like, no, Heart Sounds is a good band. I like them.
Great band.
But yeah, I think I would listen to them more if she wasn't.
I was so sad when they broke up, and it's not like they're my favorite band of all time, but they broke up, and I was like, oh man, that stinks because the guy, I think Ben is his name, amazing guitarist. I like his singing, but just like such a great creative guitarist. And I was like, now I don't get to hear it in that form anymore because he plays in metal bands. I think he was the drummer of like this or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not like huge into them, but he's got a label, Creator Destructor, and like has all these metal bands on that label.
He's in Wilhelm now, I believe.
That's like, I was so excited when they were like, he's our new guitarist, because I'm like, I get to see him again and in a punk band. Those are two of my favorite guitarists, like him and Trevor from Wilhelm, and you put them together and you're like, yeah, this is
unstoppable.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm just happy to see him like in a punk band.
Yeah, so that's and then I'll just do my potent notable real quick.
This is potent notable of least favorite.
Least favorite,
okay.
Yes. Okay, you're finished with your 3, right?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a group of singers actually in this one. It's a group, and I just picked the worst of that group, and it's Sporty Spice from the Spice Girls. Okay. I was a genuine fan of the Spice
Sporty
Girls.
Spice? We're coming after you.
Melanie Chisholm, I guess her name is. No, when like the Spice World movie came out, I saw it in the theater.
Of course,
me and my buddies, we were
like, you guys rollerbladed over there.
Oh, whatever. You and Giuseppe used to listen to Carly Rae Jepsen on jukeboxes or whatever
Still
it was,
do.
or Vanessa Branch or whatever.
Still do.
No, we were like the funny
Michelle Branch and
Branch,
Vanessa Carlton, and still do. By the way, Swick sent in his top 3. All 3 were Michelle Branch.
Nice.
So,
but yeah, no, I was a Spice Girls fan for a while. I'll admit it. And yeah, for a group that wasn't very good to begin with, like top to bottom, the worst one I thought was Sporty Spice. So it could probably be argued that Ginger Spice was kind of bad too. But
I don't know, man. I can't help you on this one.
Okay. But anyway, you got any potent notables?
I don't know that I can identify which Spice Girl is which from their voice. So we'll just keep it at that. Yeah, my potent notable is Bjork.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's beautiful or weird.
Yeah.
But I guess I would put it more towards the middle than like I hate it. Mm-hmm. But Bjork, I just never understood it, I guess.
Okay.
And then kind of the same with this one, Janis Joplin. It's like I hear parts that I go, wow, what a voice. And then I hear parts where I'm like, I don't need this. Get this out of here. Yeah. So. And then, so now on to our top 3 favorite vocalists of all time. This is once again just our personal opinions. Number 3 for me, I thought of this one pretty late. I was like scrolling and doing some research, and it came up, and I was like, oh yeah, I just forgot. It's been so long. But Amy Winehouse.
Oh.
Very unique, distinct voice. Obviously died very young. I don't listen to Amy Winehouse like there's like 1 or 2 songs on a playlist that I have or whatever. It's not a regular listen, but is such a unique voice that she's my number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is Ann Wilson. I guess you could probably say the Wilson sisters from Wilson Phillips. No, I'm joking. From Heart.
Okay, I was like, I thought Ann Wilson was Heart. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean, just the awesome voice, like just like some of those bangers back in the day.
Yeah, I'm with you. Wilson
Magic
Phillips.
Man, What About Love?
Wales.
Wilson Phillips, baby.
Yeah.
But the so I put Ann Wilson, but it could be both of the Wilson sisters from Heart, not Wilson Phillips.
They're doing a tour, like I don't want to say stadium, but it might be like a bigger.
Which one?
Heart.
Okay.
And my dad was doing some work for them that involved backstage passes, and I was like, give me all of those. I'm putting them on eBay. But it turned out they were like commemorative, and like I'm not a bad person, so I wouldn't have done that. But cool. I would have done that. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting because my dad has no clue what Heart is. He was just like doing some stuff, and I was like, why do you have all these backstage passes to this upcoming Heart tour?
That's awesome.
And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Found out he's a huge fan.
Oh yeah. My number 2 is probably who I think has the best voice in my lifetime, but they're my number 2 because I don't have too much connection to it. Like, I don't consistently listen to this person.
Okay.
That's Whitney Houston.
Oh, okay.
I think Whitney Houston...
She was mentioned as well at my house.
I think Whitney Houston's voice is insane.
Does she do Unbreak My Heart?
I don't know, man.
It's a fantastic song. I think she does.
Unbreak my heart.
Say you love me again.
We need to call Megan in here anytime we have a song.
We should.
Because
she could be like, you idiots are singing the same song again.
Yeah. She is Shazam, just in person form. But yeah, Whitney Houston's voice is incredible. And to come out of a person that is like small and skinny is even more impressive. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but like a lot of larger women, of course, have great voices because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just
I know what you're saying. It's hard to say. Yeah, you're like, they got more to pull from, or I don't know. But
well, I'm not saying like I don't know. I just think the same with men. Like Luciano Pavarotti, his voice is like powerful, and of course there's a lot in there or whatever. But to come from a person who's just like tiny, and then she's like, woo, you're like, what is happening? How did this happen? And then of course crack and whatever. So. That was my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2, this is where my punk comes in. Jenna McDougall, she's the lead singer of a pop punk band called Tonight Alive. Okay. They're an Australian band. They sound very similar to Paramore. Actually, like, that's why I would probably put like Hayley Williams here as well, just because like those two, like if I like one, I gotta kind of like the other one because they're so similar.
Are you a Paramore fan?
Not really. Like, if they're on, I'll definitely be like, yeah, that's cool. But it's funny because it's almost like I chose this band instead, Tonight Alive. Paramore, obviously, way more success. But I don't know. They might be bigger in Australia, which is where they're from. But, on, like, one of their albums, they've got, like, Corey Taylor from Slipknot. So they're not, like, nothing. And I don't know what label they're on now.
I don't know that I've heard of them.
I got familiar with them from Warped Tour and whatnot. And they're just a basic pop punk band.
Yeah.
You know.
I like some Paramore. There's a lot of not good or not up to my standards. No, that's not the right word. Jeez. There's a lot that I just don't like that they have done or whatever, but there are some good songs. There's like one specific album that has like 6 or 7 songs where I'm like, I guess I like Paramore now. But
I couldn't tell you which one that is because I don't. I mean, like, it's one of those, like, if I hear them, I know it's Paramore.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sing any of them. So
please.
Number 1 for me, I think maybe pretty obvious. Would you know who my number 1 is?
Should I say who I think it is right now?
No.
I'll write it down.
All right. That's way too many letters.
Okay.
My number 1 is Billie Eilish. You got it.
I got it.
Okay, so it is pretty obvious then. You spelled Billy wrong, but...
Oh, so even less letters, but for you it was too many.
Yeah. Well, you got weird handwriting. No, Billie Eilish to me is like insane in the way that Whitney Houston is insane because she's this like skinny little woman or whatever. Billie Eilish is like, this was a child who wrote an incredible... album that was like unique to her own sound, and she was like 16 or whatever it was when she wrote this album that went to number 1 and like blew up and all that stuff. And then from that album, what she has turned into, which is like she does movie soundtracks and all this other stuff. I do think that first album was like the best one for me because it was just so weird. That was with the Bad Guy, if you're familiar with any of her stuff.
Yeah.
So like that whole album was just kind of like weird and different and good, and her voice is insane. Like she can go very, very high, she can go low. Their music sometimes goes electronic, sometimes it goes like heavy, like heavy rock. Her and her brother.
I was gonna mention her brother. Like that's just a cool like dynamic.
Cool dynamic, and just like what a great like duo. I feel like without each other, maybe it's not the same or whatever, but the two of them together is like, it's like music magic, man. It's so good. And then now, you know, she still puts out good songs. I still like her songs. It's just not as many as the first album. For me, that first album was just like, it blew me away. And yeah, and also she's not like a regular pop star. Like she is definitely a pop star.
Yeah.
She's one of the biggest artists in the world, but she is not like selling sex, even though she has got big titties. She is not selling. You know, she wears like potato sacks and stuff, which is even better. It's like
even sexier.
Oh, I love potatoes. You've got a
potato sack kink.
Anytime I see a potato sack, boy, watch out.
Get out. Get out of the way.
Boy, watch out. Anyway.
Next week we're going to talk more about potato sack kinks.
I'm looking forward to that reel. But yeah, Billie Eilish, my number one. So what's yours?
All right, my number one is the greatest 80s singer of all time, and it's Pat Benatar.
All right, I like it.
I fucking love Pat Benatar.
I like it.
She actually, do you remember, probably not, there was a movie in the 80s called The Legend of Billie Jean. Do you remember this by any chance? So, I don't need to get into what the movie's about, but anyway, she had, her song Invincible was like kind of like the bit, you know that one? We will be invincible. It was like the kind of song for that movie. Okay. And I guess it was kind of popular, like Christian Slater and his sister were in it. But yeah, so like I was super into 80s movies, and when I heard that, it was just like, this song's great. And then it's like, oh, my mom's a Pat Benatar fan. And,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then, so yeah, Heartbreaker, I mean, like Hit Me With Your Best Shot. She's just awesome.
Yeah, I went through the list of like Pat Benatar and Joan Jett, and then like
Joan Jett, like
Lita Ford.
Yeah, see, in the same vein, but it's like, no, I don't really care for either of them. But Pat Benatar, I mean, like I actually, like I'll put her stuff on occasionally, like her greatest hits. And
I don't want to say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised by it, but we don't have like Joan Baez, Patti Smith, Tori Amos. We don't have any of those kind of like.
Well, see, like I had Alanis Morissette, which is kind of close to Tori Amos, I guess.
I wouldn't put it close. Like Tori Amos is way more. Yeah.
Alanis, I mean.
Alanis is more rock. Yeah. Like closer to a rock thing, where Tori Amos is like a. I don't even know what you call it.
That Sarah McLachlan, is that the animal one? the infomercial that everyone changes when it comes
all
on?
that Lilith Fair stuff. Yeah.
All right, well, what about your potent notables, though?
All right, so one that I love her voice, but I don't listen to her music really, but Ariana Grande, as far as someone newer.
She was good.
Yeah, I like her.
She's got a great voice.
Her voice. Gwen Stefani was one who I thought you were going to potentially be like, you like this person, but I don't like them. Because, you know, like, she's got that goofy...
She does, yeah, but whatever, I mean, that doesn't... I mean, that's... Yeah.
Yeah, Gwen Stefani. Here's one that... Interested to see what you think. Miley Cyrus.
I probably would have had her on my bottom, actually.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
When I see her live, I kind of am not a fan of it. It's like
when you go and see her live.
When I go see her live,
when she opens for Landowner,
I wear a potato sack. It is beautiful.
Damn right.
No, when I go see her live shows. No, when she was like doing the 50th SNL that was on a couple weeks ago.
She was really good.
It's like she's good, but when I see that live performance stuff, I kind of go, it's a little too like low and whatever. But like her recorded music, I enjoy like everything.
Okay.
It's weird. It's like
Party in the USA is a great song.
Absolutely, and you're gonna hear it at the event that you go to.
Damn right.
Yeah. Stevie Nicks was one that I kind of...
Yep, she's on my potent notables too.
Okay, yeah, just great voice. It's just not my generation. Like, I wasn't a huge Fleetwood Mac fan or whatever, but, like, what a voice.
Yeah.
Lepa Brena, that one, Serbian pop star. I had to put that one in there for our dear friend Hattori Hanzo, who has seen her live.
Damn.
Yeah, he's...
Did you have, like, a t-shirt or something? Or...
Yeah, I still do.
That's awesome.
If I fit into it, potentially. Yeah.
Great.
And then another one that I was like, oh, I wonder if Goff's even heard her voice. Willow Smith, Will Smith's daughter. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett's daughter.
I know, like the I Whip My Hair Back and Forth song.
So she's got a song that's like a metal song. Like she's gone genre to like try and find whatever it is, but she's got a great voice. She's got a song that's very Paramore.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's got an excellent voice. Just she's all over the place. I don't know that she's not sticking to one thing. She's just pop, rock, whatever it is. So.
Cool.
You?
Potent notables. All right, so I got when you said Ariana Grande, similar one, Christina Aguilera, who I just think has so much range. And yeah, it's like I don't love her music, but like the Moulin Rouge song, the Lady Marmalade one,
yeah,
like that one. I mean, it's just
Great voice.
Yeah.
I don't like the showmanship of a.
I could do without it. Like
Aguilera.
I don't need it, but she's hot though. So actually, it's fine.
My Britney Spears impression is the same as my Gwen Stefani. It's just
yeah. No, Britney Spears clearly that was all about like sex appeal, and it's just like, how young is this girl? It's like, who cares?
Yeah, no potato sex over there.
Jesus. I got Rihanna as well.
Interesting voice. Yeah.
But cool. I like it.
Yeah, I like a couple of her songs. I like her more than I like Beyonce, like song-wise.
I think when Rihanna... I was going to say Beyonce, yeah. When Rihanna did the Super Bowl, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it was, I think... that the Super Bowl for me is when you actually hear a band, you're like, oh, I know more songs than I thought from them.
Yeah.
So she had a lot that I liked. And then the last one, this is a fictional.
Also a little surprising, though, because you're a huge Chris Brown fan. Which is like, you were wearing his shirt before you changed into this one.
Yeah. Chris Brown delivering all the hits, baby.
All of them. Literally all of them.
And then my final one is, this is a fictional band, but this person actually sings, and it's Tia Carrere from Wayne's World, yes, as Cassandra in Crucial Taunt. She actually sings her own stuff and all of. Or I think, she's in the second one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Walken's trying to marry her.
Yep, and she is also currently a singer in real life. Okay. She sings like Hawaiian like music.
Okay,
it makes me do this.
Shug, what's it called? Tell us, whatever he's doing.
Yeah, I don't mean this to be offensive.
Shug watches the YouTube, so he can tell us what the hell that is.
I mean it to, like, actually...
honor.
100%.
Yes.
No, but she is, like, very... Like, she's won awards for this music, for this type of music, and she plays with, like, legendary Hawaiian... Once again, I don't know what to call it, but, like, she's very good. I know all this because I follow her on Instagram, and Megan is very upset with that. So.
Yeah. But I was listening to a Wayne's World podcast the other day, and it was like, holy shit, like, and the guys were talking about that, how she actually sings, and it's like, oh, she's got to be on my list. That's because,
This past weekend, Shane Gillis was on SNL, and so was Mike Myers as a like random. He played Elon Musk. It was tremendous. Nice. It was tremendous. All right, so that was our top 3 and bottom 3. Female vocalists of all time. We are now going to pick whatever we're doing for next week's episode. And then don't forget, Goff over here has Veto Power! Full Veto Power!
All right, so next week we may or may not be talking about... let's do this one. We're going to do our top 3 dream jobs.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, any
dream jobs.
I'd love any job currently.
So, you know what? I think for one like this, maybe we don't need to do a bottom. Because it's like, obviously it's like, well, I wouldn't want to clean up rhinoceros shit all day. It's like, the exact... or what do you think? I don't know.
Well, why did you apply for that job?
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, I'm with you. Let's just do top 3 dream jobs.
All right, cool.
And we'll go from there.
Rock and roll.
Cool. Thank you guys for listening, and donate money, QR code, links, all that kind of stuff. Give Goff some money. He's going to shave his
head. My head shaved.
And if you don't shave your head, we could just put a green screen.
Yeah.
They
won't know.
No one will know. We're going to take their money. Anyway, thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.